Hey Eddie, we good to go?
I believe we are, so I guess we will just keep a quick eye on the YouTube. Hopefully everyone will be heading over there. Did you post a link to the live stream?
I'll do this now.
Okay, cool. Okay, just tweeted that out. Okay, Matteo says he cannot hear us very well. Matteo, can you confirm if it's better or worse? Hopefully it's a little bit better.
I'm gonna be on the chat, so I'm gonna jump off of here so I can listen to the stream.
No worries, cool. Just ping me if there's anything you need.
All right. Good luck.
Cool. So as we're kind of just filtering in, I thought it'd be kind of fun to do some elevator music using Satbox. I'm not sure if everybody can see my screen and hear the music, but this is a really cool Lightning-based web app where if you go to satbox.tv, you can hear some very cool elevator music. Currently streaming in my ears. Audio good, okay, cool. Nice guys, just a few minutes in. We can just wait for a couple more people and then we will get started. Welcome to Shock the Web, our very, very first Shock the Web. Thank you guys for all attending. If you haven't already, obviously, please find your way to the Bitcoin Design Slack channel. So that's Bitcoin Design Community. You can find their Slack channel either through their website, through their Twitter. We've also been tweeting about it a lot. And then once you're in the Slack channel, you can make your way over to the Bolt Fun channel. So that's Bolt-Fun. And that's where all of the communications for the event are going to be running through there. We'll have links to all of the videos, links to everything else. By the way, if anybody else would like to try Satbox TV, please feel free to queue a YouTube URL, generate an invoice, pay it, and queue it up. Please, nothing too offensive, just while I'm sharing my video. Cool, we're up to 22 viewers, so I guess we can probably start in a couple minutes. For those of you who are just joining, good, cool. Let me turn off my notifications. Some groovy elevator music. Cool. Okay, everybody. We are just about ready to go, I think. Might hear some groovy hip hop music. So that was Satbox TV. Really cool Lightning-based web application which allows you to stream videos, a bit like a jukebox online. Really cool stuff. Okay, so I'm hoping everybody can see my screen now. Awesome. Cool. Okay, so again, hello and welcome to Shock the Web March. So this is our first Shock the Web Hackathon. We are presenting it by Bolt Fun. So Bolt Fun is a community of makers. We'll talk about all of this stuff soon, but Shock the Web is a sort of a quarterly hackathon that we're going to be putting on. And this is our first ever one. So it's going to be a 7-day completely virtual event. We've got a really packed schedule, a whole host of fun talks, workshops, live events, keynote speeches, whatever it is from some of the best in the industry, from some really cool names in Lightning, just for you guys. So the aim of it really is obviously just to learn as much about Lightning as possible, learn about all of these really cool new applications for Lightning on the web, and just to really immerse you into the world of sort of Bitcoin and first-time development. First of all, I guess a shout out to and thanks to some of our sponsors. So the Bitcoin design community, who are obviously hosting a lot of the communications through Slack, through YouTube. Really awesome design resource and design community. So if you haven't checked them out already, please do go and check them out. Peak Shift Design and Research Lab is also sponsoring the event. So they're going to be hosting a whole load of design workshops. The first is a sprint workshop we're going to be getting into later on, as well as providing some sort of design mentorship and stuff like that. We've also got Alby. If you haven't checked out Alby yet, please do go to getalby.com, download the Chrome extension. It is a Lightning wallet in your browser, will allow you to interact with loads of applications, WebLN applications, and more. So yeah, please go and download them. Thanks to Alby. We've also got Spiral, Volga Ventures, and also Hive Mind. So yeah, thanks to everyone who's helped sponsor this event and helped put it together. We wouldn't be here without you. So just a quick thanks before we get into the fun of it. Okay, so yeah, welcome. First, I'll just be giving a brief overview on, like, what is Bolt Fun and Shock the Web, and then we'll be taking a sort of brief look at our schedule before sort of meeting some of the judges, the speakers, the mentors. And then Johns is kindly going to be giving us a brief introduction to Bitcoin and Lightning. Which is basically going to be sort of like a primer or 101 for a lot of people who are sort of new to Bitcoin, new to Lightning and web development. So first of all, what is Bolt Fun? Bolt Fun primarily is a community of makers. We're going to be using this term a lot throughout this hackathon, so get used to it. It's going to be something which we'll be referring to a lot of you guys as. And within this community, Bolt Fun is basically a fun way to explore new ways and experiment with Lightning, the Lightning Network, using WebLN. We aim to create sort of a fun and collaborative educational space for Lightning to evolve on the web and for you guys to learn about Lightning and Bitcoin and play around with it. Bolt Fun is kind of segregated into, or sorry, not segregated, connected into 3 sort of different streams. So a couple of different products we've been working on so far. The first is a guide. So this is kind of like a slightly more technical primer for people to start learning about Lightning, particularly on the web. And so this is going to be hopefully a good place for people to go and actually learn about Bitcoin and Lightning and sort of get stuck in with their first experience. We've then also got the makers app directory. So if you go to makers.bolt.fun, you'll see a really cool app directory that we've made where you can submit and get your WebLN powered applications up. People can then interact with your application, they can play around with it, and then we can also vote on apps. So a little bit like Product Hunt or Reddit or whatever it is, you know, you can upvote, but instead of upvoting with normal thumbs, we use sats. So it's a really cool way to sort of get started with Lightning. Again, do that by downloading Alby, get started with there, and start playing around and voting for some cool projects and start playing around with some really cool Lightning apps. The third part of Bolt Fun is obviously these hackathons, so Shock the Web, which is really just a way of, as I said, sort of promoting experimentation and education within Lightning and getting a whole bunch of you folk together and just playing around with Lightning. So seeing what we can build within a short period of time, onboarding new developers and designers into Lightning and into Bitcoin, and getting people playing around with what is potentially a very exciting new chapter of the web. So I guess I've already kind of talked about it, but who are these makers, this community within Bolt Fun? We define it as people who tinker and create cool things on Bitcoin and Lightning. That is obviously not the real definition of a maker, but for the sake of our makers, it is. So again, everyone here, anyone who is taking part is a maker. If you are here to learn about Lightning, to create some cool new experiences on the web, then this is the place for you to be. I guess just a couple of ways that you can help contribute to Bolt Fun and to Shock the Web. The first is obviously by contributing to the Bolt Fun guide. As I mentioned, this is kind of like an educational resource for people to get their teeth stuck into Lightning and Bitcoin. So if you feel like writing and contributing to the Bolt Fun guide, obviously please do. You can go to our website and contribute directly, or you can get in contact with us and we can help you out with that. Another way, obviously, submitting apps to the makers directory. We've got about 30 applications on the directory at the moment. Hopefully by the end of this hackathon, we'll have another 30, who knows. But if you would like to submit apps, whether it's your app or someone else's, please feel free to submit it to the directory, provide some sort of Lightning address, and any tips or votes that application actually receives through the makers directory goes straight to the creator. So it's a really cool way of also funding some of your favorite applications as well. And then the third and final thing, obviously taking part in the Shock the Web hackathon. So thank you all, obviously, for being here. We are super excited. This is our first of many more to come. But just taking part, being here, obviously giving us any feedback, whatever it is a really, really great way to just help us out. And just thank you for your support. Why are makers important? I think this is kind of good just to briefly sort of touch upon. We need people within the Bitcoin community who are sort of doing DIY things. They're building stuff with Lightning, they're experimenting, they're learning about it. And it's really important for these people to exist and be active within a community in order to keep Bitcoin decentralized. You know, decentralization goes further than just the architecture layer of running your own node, whatever it is. We also want people to actively contribute to Bitcoin, and we want people to actively contribute to Lightning, whether it's with design or development. So we believe that the makers community is going to be really important with this as well. We've also got a lot of interest now in Web3 and whatever that might mean, but this new sort of host of decentralized applications on the web. And so we believe that also makers are going to be crucial in driving the sort of application and adoption of Bitcoin and Lightning on the web layer. So now it is sort of more important than ever that we have a group of really energetic persons who are just ready to contribute to Bitcoin and Lightning and are looking to sort of learn and get stuck in. And then how does Shock the Web kind of fit into this? So as I mentioned, this is going to be like a quarterly hackathon, something we'll run a few times a year. And really it's just a way for people to experiment and build apps and just to really have fun. I mean, fun is in the name. So yeah, we want to promote an open, educational and collaborative environment so that you guys can all get hands-on experience with Lightning, web development, and increasing design and development interest, as I note there, and just generally actually the amount of resources in Bitcoin and Lightning as well. So hopefully stimulate some growth on that front. Just running through the hackathon and actually how it's sort of going to work, just so that you guys are aware. The first 3 days of the hackathon are going to be directed just at learning, really. So if you are new to Bitcoin and Lightning, or if you are fairly familiar with it, hopefully these first 3 days are going to be a really good way to just get comfortable with Lightning, get comfortable with a lot of the technology that we're going to be working with, a lot of the terms that are going to be thrown around a lot, and just making sure that sort of everyone is up and running before we sort of get into a fairly intense weekend of hacking. So as I note there, yeah, we're going to have 3 full days of hacking. So obviously this can be as an individual or with your team. And then we're also going to be hosting some sort of Q&A with mentors so that they can help you out and run sort of supportive workshops. The final day, we'll give everyone a chance to present. And then we will have the judges come in, judge, and everyone will also vote on the sort of Maker's Choice Award as well. And hopefully lots of fun along the way. I just want to mention here that obviously you can take part in anything and everything. We would like to see people take part in a bunch of these things. So, please do attend these talks and these workshops. They are being put on for your benefit. So it'd be great to see as many faces there as possible. And then same with the hacking. But obviously, if you want to just sort of show up on day one, start hacking by yourself for 7 days and then show up right at the end and submit a project, then that's okay too. Like, there aren't really any defined timelines of when you can and can't stop hacking. Well, there is actually the timeline of when you can't stop hacking, but you can start now as you want with your team, but just make sure that you have something submitted by, I believe it's 5 p.m. European time on Monday. So those are kind of like the rough brackets for what you can work within. But within this week, we will be hosting a whole load of really cool interactive seminars and stuff. So please do get stuck in. A quick overview of the schedule. So Tuesday, obviously today, straight after this, we're going to have Johns from PeakShift come, and he's going to give us an introduction to Bitcoin and Lightning. So this is going to be a really cool introductory talk. Just a 101 of Lightning and sort of like how to get stuck in. Straight after that, we're going to have Moritz from Alby. I've already mentioned Alby, the Lightning browser extension wallet. He's going to be coming and giving an introduction to Alby. So it's going to be just a complete rundown of that, how to install it, how to get up and running, and also what it is. And then after that, from 5 till 7:30 European time, we're going to be hosting the first of our Lightning Sprint modules. Again, it's going to be hosted by the sort of PeakShift design, and we're going to get stuck into sort of defining the sprint challenge and also asking some of the experts about, asking them a bunch of questions and hopefully solving some blockers which you guys might have on day one. Wednesday, tomorrow, we've got Roy from Breeze coming. He's going to be giving a talk on the possibilities of Lightning on the web and within the web economy. So that's going to be really good for people who are looking to sort of formulate ideas of actually what to hack on over the week. Really wouldn't miss that one. Straight after, again, we've got another great one from Boomy. He's from Alby as well. He's going to be giving a workshop on how to build your first Lightning web app. So again, really directed at people who are sort of new to this. After Boomy, we've got our second Lightning sprint from Peak Shift. And then straight after that, we're going to have a couple of the guys from Galoy. So Nicola, the CEO, and well, it says Andrew there, but actually I believe it's Arvin. They are going to be giving an introductory talk to sort of Galoy and USD over Lightning, and then running a workshop straight afterwards on how to get started using their API. Thursday, we've got Ben Art from LN Bits coming. He's going to be giving a workshop on how to build on top of LN Bits. So really excited for that. If you're kind of new to Lightning and backends, then again, this is probably going to be a really good workshop for you. After Ben, we've got Peak Shift again. They're going to be coming on giving the third and final sort of Lightning sprint. And then right after that, hopefully by that point, you've got your sort of challenge or your goal for the hackathon. You know the idea that you want to work on, and you've probably sketched it out. So straight after that, we're going to have Christoph Ohner from the Bitcoin design community, and he's going to be giving an introductory workshop to the Bitcoin design guide and UI kit. So if you're fresh with an idea and you're looking to get up and running with Lightning, then this is going to be a really good one. And to round off Thursday evening, we've got Andre from Zebedee. Zebedee is a platform which helps gamers power their games with Lightning. So he's going to be giving a talk on Lightning in general within sort of the gaming community, but then also some really interesting insights into what they've kind of learned with Zebedee, and some of the UX issues that they've come across along the way and sort of how they solved them. So this is going to be really interesting to hear from Andre, and I'm really looking forward to that one. As I kind of mentioned, Friday through Monday, it's going to be a slightly different schedule. Friday and Saturday is going to be hacking all day. Obviously, wake up whenever you want to wake up, hack and end whenever you want to end. This is totally up to you. However, from 4 till 6 p.m. European time, we'll be hosting sort of mentors Q&A. So this is kind of going to be really good for people who need blockers solved and some questions answered on how to go about designing or building their application. Same with Sunday, although the Q&A there is going to be 1 hour from 4 till 5. So just be aware of that one. And then submissions are going to open at 7 p.m. on Sunday night. So the way that submissions are actually going to work is people will submit their apps to the makers directory. So it's going to be a really interactive submission process. And then community voting or makers voting will begin about an hour and a half or 2 hours later. I'll explain that in a little bit. And then on Monday, obviously people can continue hacking until Monday afternoon, but these submissions will close at 5 p.m. European time. So just make sure if you want to get in and have a chance of winning some of our awesome prizes, please make sure you have submitted your application by 5 p.m. at the latest. Submissions can also include a quick video presentation. So if you are going to be asleep during the results closing ceremony on Monday evening, because obviously it will be sort of middle of the night for a lot of people in sort of East Asia. If you are going to be asleep, obviously feel free to submit your application with a quick video that we can play during these sort of final projects and presentations. So that will take place between 5:30 and 7. Might run on a little bit longer, but hopefully we'll give our judges some time to take a look at all of these submissions and choose their winners, which we will then be announcing between 7:30 and 8:30 during this sort of closing ceremony. And then after that, we'll just have a post-hackathon hangout, and we will reflect on what an awesome week it has been. some of the judges, speakers, and mentors for this week. So some friendly faces to look out for within the Bitcoin Design Slack and just the Bolt Fund community in general. As I mentioned, we've got Boomy from Alby. He's going to be giving a workshop tomorrow. We've also got John Carvalho from Synonym. So John is obviously a well-recognized sort of Bitcoiner in the space, and we're really pleased to have him here. We've also got Christoph, a killer designer from the Bitcoin design community. So he's going to be looking out for a lot of things design. So if you're looking to impress someone design-wise, he's probably the guy. We've also got Fiat Jeff from Zebedee, as well as obviously Andre from Zebedee as well. Roy from Breeze, he's also giving a talk, as I mentioned. And Moritz, as well as Bernard, so a couple of people we've mentioned as well. So the Alby and Ellen Bits team there are being represented. And then a few extras. We've obviously got Nicola and Arvin from Galloy giving their talks tomorrow evening. We've got Johns, who's going to be talking any second now. Myself, Stephen DeLorme, MTG, Alex, and Tiana. So a few people who are going to be floating around in the chat, going to be helping mentor a lot of designers here, a few developers. So just some friendly faces to look out for. Obviously, please feel free to reach out to myself or anyone on this list if you need any help throughout the hackathon. Okay, getting excited about prizes. What is at stake? You guys might have seen, but we've got some pretty awesome cash prizes for first, second, and third place. $1,600 to the winner there. So that's going to be a huge cash prize. We really wanted to incentivize people to really just go for it this week. Please just, get stuck in. Use this as an incentive or don't, either way, but there are some cool prizes on offer. We've also got a Best Design Award. Christoph came on our Twitter Spaces yesterday and said he's really looking forward to seeing a project without code. Controversial, I know, but there will be a Best Design Award. This can be given to either first, second, or third, obviously, if they've got the best design. So it's not solely for no code, but we will not discriminate against code or no code for this one. It's just going to be based around the quality of sort of the UI and UX. And then we've obviously got this maker's choice. This is just going to be straight up sort of kudos. But the way that this is going to work is that through the maker's directory, we can obviously use sats to vote on projects and upvote projects. So this is just going to be a fun way for us to experiment as a community with the Makers application and to sort of get people stuck in and get involved with that. The way it obviously will work is for 24 hours between Sunday evening and Monday before the results close. We'll just invite people to come up, and then obviously if there are any other projects there which are listed under the Shock the Web category, these are obviously going to be all of the submissions. We're just going to let everyone sort of vote on their favorite submissions. You can obviously vote on yourself, but just to make it fun, also vote for other people as well. And whoever has the most votes at the end wins the Maker's Choice Award. So it's kind of just a fun way of getting some community hype around some of these different projects. Some of the judging criteria, this is probably going to be important to talk about. The value proposition, does the app obviously have sort of a market fit and can it make an impact? Some innovation, is it something new or is it something we've sort of seen before? How innovative are they being with WebLN? Lightning integration, has the product used Lightning, WebLN? If so, how many features, etc. The execution, obviously it is a hackathon, but attention to detail is valued highly, so please give it your best shot. UI UX design, obviously taking into account both of those things. How well is the application or feature actually designed? Does it look good? Does it feel good? And then a bit of je ne sais quoi. Who knows what that is? Literally, it is just the sort of feel or coolness of the application. It could be a little bit something extra special, but we'll probably leave that one up to the judges to decide themselves. Just some information on where to meet. We've obviously got the sort of main stage here. We'll be inviting the speakers into the main stage, but then we're going to be streaming it to YouTube Live. So if in doubt, go through to the Bitcoin Design channel, and you will see our live streams there. This is going to be for all sort of talks, events, the workshops as well. There will obviously hopefully be like an interactive element to it, but this is going to be the sort of main stage. And then as some of you who were potentially there before, we were sitting in the lobby talking through, meeting one another. So that's going to be more of a sort of a social hangout place. If you go to meet.jit.c and then /shocktheweb lobby, you will be able to find hopefully a bunch of other participants in there hanging out, answering questions. And I'm sure some sort of workshop QAs might also be hosted in there. Fun little thing here. We also sort of created a hacker badge Figma file. So if you want to go ahead and create your own hacker badge for Shock the Web sort of first virtual hackathon, you can do so by going to the Figma community file. There will be a link. I will post this presentation later for you guys to find these links. But you can go there, create your own badge template, and if you want to mint it into an NFT on Rare Toshi, go ahead. Also, quick shout out, Folga are obviously sponsoring this event, but if at any point you would like to think about turning your hackathon project into a startup, there is a sort of office hours with Oleg. You can go to the Shock the Web website and you can find a link there to book in a call with him. Okay, guys, so it is about 2:30. I will be now inviting Johns to come in and give everybody an introduction to Bitcoin and Lightning. Thank you all again so much for being here. We really, really appreciate all of your support. And we are super, super excited for everything that is to come. Johns, are you there? How are you doing, man?
Streaming is on.
Hey, Johns, how you doing?
Good, good, good. Can you hear me?
Streaming is on.
We can hear you loud and clear. Let's just wait for... Can everybody else in the YouTube, can everybody hear us? Hopefully the audio is okay. Good to just check in. Audio is good. Okay, Johns. Audio is good and confirmed. So I will hand it over to you.
All right, give me a second. I just messed up my slides. But okay, let's see if I can get this working again. Loading up. Did it really? Right. I'm excited for this. For what we're gonna see this week here. It's that's a really good rundown of everything. You touched on some. I think one point that I'd like to emphasize is like these makers that you spoke. We want to get people to make stuff, right? We want to get people like excited about making stuff on Bitcoin, because there's like so much creativity that like we're able to do and to exercise on here. So we want to get like some fresh blood, some new people in the space, and using their imagination and creativity to collaborate and make some cool things. So I'm really excited about that. Okay, so I think it's fine for now, but okay. Give me a second.
No worries. Just while you're fixing that, Johns, I also realized that one of these slides actually was not in my presentation. So that was actually just a resources slide. So some good resources just to check out for people who are sort of new to Bitcoin, Lightning, and WebLN. I will post the presentation in the Slack channel. So hopefully all of those links are clickable. But if not, then please obviously just reach out to me. I can help you guys out. Cool. I'll go back to you now, John.
All right, cool, no problem. All right, tell me if you can see my screen. Is it showing?
Yep.
All right, cool. All right, so this is going to be maybe a bit dense, but I'll try to keep it fun because we're talking about fun with Bitcoin payments, right? All right, so this slide presentation was designed by, or at least the template was designed by Christoph Ono from the Bitcoin design community. We have a bunch of resources like this that you could pick out as well. Yeah, you can check it out. All right, so this is a Bitcoin payments workshop, and we're going to be talking about some push and pull payment, what those are, Bitcoin and the 2 layers, Bitcoin smart contracts, payment channels, invoices, and a bit of routing. We'll see if we get to the last part of this. But yeah, let's get started. Maybe we start with an introduction of what Bitcoin is, right? So in 2008, some anonymous person or persons released this white paper. And a white paper is just like, a PDF that's with white background, essentially. But it was this technical architecture of this a magic internet money, this peer-to-peer electronic cash system. And I think quite immediately, like people in the very technical cryptography space, they were like, whoa, this is super interesting that this actually is possible now. And what's possible? This peer-to-peer aspect of decentralized money, like money that's not in control by one entity, but instead the nodes that are living on the network. And oops, sorry. Okay, I definitely messed that up. And oops, yeah. Okay, so yeah, in 2009, a few months later, the network was actually launched, right? The Bitcoin network, and it was developed through the software. I think it was called Bitcoin QT at the time, now Bitcoin Core. And this software basically allowed people to get their computers networked to one another so they could share transactions and block information, right? So Bitcoin, this architecture is kind of like this, it popularized this architecture of the blockchain, right? It made this possible. This white paper made the blockchain architecture possible. And yeah, so it first started off running on one person's computer, the Satoshi, or the group's computer, Satoshi. And someone else started running the software. And now those two computers were talking to one another, sharing those transactions and block information. And throughout the years now, over a decade, the Bitcoin's popularity has been increasing and more people know about it. A bunch of 100 and something people have signed up to this hackathon, trying to learn or wanting to understand more or wanting to create things on this network that started with just one person, then two. So I find that quite powerful. And oops, yeah, okay. Yeah, and I want to talk also about this, the Bitcoin design community and the role of it. So as this network's growing and growing, we have these user experience problems that started to arise, right? Because this technology was very technical to begin with. So people started to come together, some designers started to come together, thanks to Steve Lee from Spiral and a bunch of the early people. decided to come together and say, hey, how can we try to solve some of these design problems, these user experience problems in Bitcoin. And we're like, well, it's open source, right? So it needs a group of people because this is global money, and it can't really be solved by just one individual. So this is where the Bitcoin design community was formed, and that's the Slack channel that we're currently in. And there's this Bitcoin design guide that you can also check out, bitcoin.design, which is documenting a lot of these user experience findings from folks in the community who are contributing. All right, so let's get to the meat of it. Why is this Bitcoin thing interesting in the first place? So with traditional payments, we have, so Bitcoin is this pull-based payment system. And what that means is basically the sender always has to initiate the payment. They always have to basically approve the payment. And they're doing these approvals with these, with a bit of cryptography, magic, mathematics, right? They're doing these things like signing transactions and signing messages and from their private keys. I'm not going to get into that too much, but if you do want to learn more, please reach out. And I think Jay Deluxe is also here to help you guys understand some of these concepts a bit more in depth than this presentation would go. So yeah, in Bitcoin, it puts the control back into the individual's hands, right? The control of money. And I really like quoting this guy called Roy, who's presenting about the Lightning economy tomorrow, I think. And the problem with these pull payment systems, which we have, is the problem with the pull payment systems are that you subscribe to a service and it pulls the money out. These services pull the money out of your account, so it becomes difficult to track your spending, and you're just seeing your funds getting depleted constantly. In a in a push payment system, you're actually sorry, I think I made a mistake there. Credit cards, for instance, are pull payments, and Bitcoin is push payments. So with a credit card system or like banking, someone is able to reach their hand into your bank account or whatever and take funds out, whether it's the government or whether it's the service providers or whatever. And what that means is, like, if the business models that get formed around that, it means that they try to extract as much money or sign you up for like year-long memberships or stuff up front, right? And it's equivalent to this quote by Roy. If you want to get a glass of milk for your coffee, you have to buy the whole cow. And we think of Bitcoin as the money of the internet, right? The thing that's going to be able to allow us to transact value across borders and whatnot. And if it's the money of the internet, then we want it to have like low fees, and we also want it to be fast, and we want it to be secure, and we don't want it to be controlled by one nation state, because we don't want the internet itself to be controlled by one nation state or organization or company or anything. So how does this happen, right? So Bitcoin has this thing called layers, right? It's the plan in how payments get how we achieve scalability. If you know about the Bitcoin blockchain, maybe you've heard that it's maybe a bit slow, with 10 minutes waiting and all that. And I want to dispel that that notion. It's not about it being slow. It's about it being secure. The Bitcoin blockchain is super secure. There's not a central party that controls everything. Even the miners don't control Bitcoin. It's the individual nodes even, which have a say in the consensus, the network coming to agreement. And instead of trying to make the blockchain, this very secure layer, faster, what instead we do, we build up from the base layer to second layers and maybe eventually third layers. And this is also how the internet has been scaling, right? We don't interact on a TCP network level. We interact, using HTTP, which then, which is a layer on top of the networking stack, at least in the browsers, in the browser context. So, one of these scaling solutions is, oops, yep, I definitely messed that up. Yeah, okay, so sorry about this. Yeah, so one of these scaling solutions is the Lightning Network. And the Lightning Network is a micro payment network for everyday payments. And it does not have blocks within it. Instead, it has this concept of onion routing. So maybe some of you guys have heard about Tor before, and the payments within the Lightning Network pretty much move in a similar way as the Tor network, as your traffic goes through the Tor network. And how that is, it's through these things called payment channels. And yeah, okay. Yeah, so payment channels, this one was correct. So a payment channel is basically a joint account, right? And the technical term is a multi-sig. You've probably heard about it like that, but maybe some of you have heard this concept of a joint account that you would open at a bank. And a joint account is basically where two parties would, they have to make an agreement in order to move some amount of funds, right? And so, for instance, you may have a payment channel with a parent, for instance, right? And sometimes your parent would send some money to you, but then sometimes you send it back. And how this happens is one transaction, when you open a payment channel, you have to open a payment channel with that parent. And you guys agree to lock up some funds together, and you would be pushing the payments on your side of the channel onto to the next side of the channel. Then that person on the opposite side has more Bitcoin that they could then send back. And all this stuff are kind of recorded off chain with this with a bit of this cryptography magic that we were talking about. The transactions, these are technically valid transactions, but they don't get recorded on the blockchain. They don't get sent on the blockchain. Because if you're sending funds back and forth with one another, then you could just make an agreement and say, hey, once this transaction is valid, I'm not going to broadcast it because there's going to be some fee on the blockchain, on the blockchain. So let's just continue routing these payments through the Lightning Network and passing these IOUs, right? Back and forth. And then maybe at some later date, if we need to make a payment on the blockchain itself, then we can close our channel and publish our balance transaction, that final signed transaction that has the most up-to-date version of our balance, basically. And yeah, this is pretty much how the Lightning Network is formed. And what's quite interesting is that the applications that get built on top of it, right? What kinds of things are we going to see being built on top of this kind of really fast payment network? By the way, for Lightning Network, the payments get transacted in seconds. So this is really what I imagine the vision of the currency of the internet to look like. We need something that can move microcents in fractions of a second. And with the Lightning Network, those funds can move as fast as data moves, essentially. So it's tremendously faster than any blockchain system, but it's also secured by the Bitcoin blockchain, which is the most distributed, the most decentralized network out there. So yeah, I think the rest of my slides are kind of messed up there. I can try to answer some questions in the chat in the meantime. So perhaps you guys can send off some questions, and I'll try to answer them.
Yeah, that seems like a good way of doing things. Thanks, John. I think the best way for this to happen is probably for people to, if you have any questions for John's, please post them in the YouTube chat or maybe directly into the Slack channel. But YouTube might be better for now. I saw MakerBits asked a question. Would subscription services exist if we had digitally native value transfer from the beginning of the internet?
Would subscription? Oh, that's a really good question. You know, I read this Nelson article on like it was so interesting because it was written in 99, I believe, right? So we didn't have the like as much of like the advertising business model on the web as we did as we do now, and both advertising and subscriptions, I think they're not the best ways to monetize. And I think with Bitcoin, we have like a lot more opportunity now. The problem is that we don't know what those business models are. How does that look? There's this concept for value, which is coming out, getting popularized, which is that you pay a creator or a service for the value that you receive, right? You give value for value, and yeah, perhaps if we had these payment system built into the internet from the beginning, that would have been the standard, and we would have different types of business models, and yeah, not this kind of like manipulative algorithmic based feed that keeps you into the YouTube or the Facebook holes or the Twitter holes, So yeah, I think it would. Yeah, I think it would be a little bit of a different world with something like value for value, but it's not. There's still opportunity. There's still time, and now is the time for it. So. Yeah, hopefully we can see some cool projects being built during this hackathon using this value for value model.
Cool. In terms of, I mean, maybe we can sort of just keep the conversation running here for a few minutes. In terms of, obviously, Roy from Breeze will obviously be giving a talk tomorrow on exploring Lightning's web economy and some of the potential ways that Lightning can be applied on the web layer. With the context of the sort of the payments you're just talking about, are there any sort of like introductory level sort of ideas that you could think of, some ways to maybe start stimulating some imagination around how people can sort of use WebLN to start to create some of these web apps, whether it's value for value, I don't know, like music streaming services, podcasts, or something totally different. Like maybe we can just sort of briefly discuss a couple of those things.
Yeah, sure. And we have Moritz here as well from the Alby team, who's probably going to go a lot more in depth in this concept of value for value, I think. But Moritz, what do you think about that? Do you want to jump in on this? Let's get you in. You jumped in early, so let's go.
Yeah. I thought there was a like waiting room in between.
Oh no, you're
but-
straight into it. This is it, everyone.
Perfect. Yeah, no, I mean it's awesome to be here. It's really like it's such a pleasure to be to have this opportunity to present Alby to all of you. I think even like recently we really hit a record in our community call. So many new faces joined us.
Let's go.
So nice how this project develops. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you think to the person's question from YouTube there? How do you think? Do you think that online internet monetization would have been different if we had it built into like this? Would we not have these subscriptions and advertising models if we had payments built into the internet by default natively?
I think that's a very hard question. I think to a certain extent, advertising is also a valid revenue stream for publishers. Definitely. So it's definitely would not be to that extent as we see this today.
Yeah, and in my previous life, I worked on like I guess like it would count as like advertising stuff with like a lot of hotels back in my island of St. Lucia because that's the main industry over there, and it just felt like you're always pushing out these messages. You're always trying to optimize for like the button to be this color and for this text to be bigger or for this tracking to be included. And if I didn't mess up my slides earlier, I would have gone into some privacy points about like this kind of new internet that we want to build. It's one that really puts the control into the person's hand, like back to the individual, one in terms of privacy, but also in control of their funds. And I really think it is kind of like, it's really evil to just be like pulling funds out of someone's wallet, automatically, and these kind of things. It may seem convenient at first, definitely, but eventually it becomes very difficult to track, right? Especially with the current systems that we have. And what ends up happening is that and the other thing is contracts. They get tied into these like very long contracts that we can't break out of. It just kind of like forces you into this kind of like servitude kind of thing. But I'm not gonna go into that.
So, no. I think I just 2 points that I want to mention here.
Go on.
On the one side, I think if you enable payments, so one thing is that what is definitely a bit critical is the fact that there are so many parties in between the person who like delivers a service, provides certain content, and the consumer on the other side. And this is definitely something where Lightning can help a lot because it enables these direct payments that are not possible before, for example.
And I think that's a great segue.
Again now.
Live streaming is on.
All right. Every hour we're gonna have this disconnect, so bear with us, guys. It's a problem with the platform that we're using. We'll see if we can try to fix it for tomorrow. But this was a great segue into Moritz talk on Alby and how it is going to be possible to bring Lightning to the web browser and a bunch of stuff about this creator economy and value for value, I think, as well. So without further ado, let's go.
Awesome. Thank you, Johns. Thank you, Ed, for giving us the opportunity to present Alby to many new developers. I prepared some small slides about Alby and also then we can go into let's do like this, into a short demo. So okay, I hope it works. You should see my screen right now. So yeah, I'm Moritz. I'm a contributor of Alby, and Alby is the Bitcoin Lightning wallet for your browser. And the goal of Alby is basically to bring Bitcoin payments and identity not only to users, but also to web applications. And that's why we started working on Alby. And for us, Alby stands for these instant, direct, and also smarter payments that we want to make accessible to everyone. So this means these payments are instant, they are way cheaper, and this also then facilitates the monetization of content, for instance, that we recently talked about is mainly monetized through advertisements. It also allows these direct payments and therefore makes their own whole online economy more inclusive. And on top, there's also seamless payments, or rather like seamless access through Alby to Bitcoin Lightning applications for greater user experience. And how this works, we will also show you later. And finally, we want to make payment transactions smarter. So today you have your transaction list that looks like rather boring. You usually do not know what to do with that. But we have the intention with Alby to make it really actionable and smarter. Yeah, and that's basically Alby. I think I should actually also, I think this looks nicer if I somehow enable my video again. Okay, let's see if it works. Yeah, that's Alby. And ultimately, what Alby does, it really creates the seamless UX for web payments and authentication. So for payments, interacting with web applications, and authentication, meaning if you want to access a web application in a secure way as a user. And it provides, therefore, this missing bridge, what we do not have today, between the users, like backend in terms of Lightning Wallet, in terms of Lightning Node, and the Lightning website or web application. So for example, you can connect your very individual node and wallet backend to Alby on the one side, and then access through Alby any website, like any Bitcoin Lightning application or a merchant that accepts Bitcoin Lightning on the other side. And this really, in our point of view, this activates the whole application layer of the Bitcoin Lightning network, because it never before had been so easy for any user to access these applications. So for example, you can go on Bitrefill, spend some sats there, you can trade on LN markets, play browser games, convert the money that you won on exchanges, for example. You can also easily tip publishers or log into online services. And it's really that these new UX of web payments, where we strongly believe that this supports a variety of existing applications and enables a multitude of new use cases at the end. And therefore, and through the standard, it also allows a sort of programmatic interaction between any website and user. And one of my, I think one of the following talks tomorrow will be how you can enable, as a developer, how you can enable these programmatic interactions. I will only give a short introduction today. So on the one side, Alby is really built for any user. And it also leverages the user base of existing wallets, because as a user, you can connect your very own wallet. You basically can stay in your trusted setup that you are used to operate, or or to use. So for example, you have your Umbrel node at home, you have a Raspberry Blitz at home. Like you can connect any local Lightning node. You can also work with any accounting system like LNBits or LND Hub together with Alby. You can also connect custodial mobile wallets like Blue Wallet. We now recently added Bitcoin Beach Wallet or Bitcoin Jungle app to the list of connectors of Alby 2, and also soon Cloud Lightning nodes that can be used with Alby. So there is really, I think this is a very important fact also for applications, because this like strongly facilitates the onboarding of any new user to Alby and therefore to their web application. So here is there are some features I've listed out. We will also see some of them in a demo after that. So on the one side, for example, what we have, you can customize budgets for websites and therefore also allow basically the streaming of payments or almost automate payments. So let's say you are on Bitcoin Magazine. Bitcoin Magazine has several paywalls throughout their articles, and you do not want to get prompted each and every time to send a payment to unlock an article. Now you can just like set a budget of X sats and then click pay, and then the payment is released. Also important to know, in this case, Alby always asks you as a user, do you really want to, for example, access this application? Do you want to send this payment? And you as a user are in full charge. So Alby basically acts on your behalf, or like almost as an agent of yours, and is fully client-side at this point. And a very interesting thing also that was implemented in Alby is it can detect and read text like Lightning addresses and links from websites. And this will trigger Alby. It will basically wake up Alby, and then you can send tips on YouTube, on Twitter, or any other website that has a Lightning address displayed, is read out by Alby, and then you can send some sats to this person. There's also a transaction list that is continuously improved, that helps you to keep track of payment history, and will also then extend it by additional website metadata along the way. And finally, I guess you know the hassle of remembering passwords, forgetting passwords, resetting passwords. This becomes obsolete if you use Alby, because Alby allows the authentication through the Lightning Network. So this is a short overview about the Alby browser extension. On top, what the whole project is also about. So I mentioned Lightning addresses, right, that you use for receiving Bitcoin Lightning payments. And there's a service provided by Alby where you can create your own Lightning address. It's rather simple. You can add or create your like very personal one, because you can add your like personal name to that. And what is also unique is that you can connect your very own node if you provide a invoice macaroon, just to make sure that you have enough incoming capacity to receive payments from your friends on that address too. But there are two options, as I mentioned. You can either use the Alby custodial wallet by default, or you can connect your own node and then directly receive contributions to your own node. So there's this Lightning address service that is provided by Alby that will also be extended along the way through like further widgets that makes it very easy for anyone to integrate Alby into their website, for example, to allow visitors to send you Lightning applications, Lightning payments. Yeah, one thing here, you also get a personal tipping page so that you can give out to anyone and ask for tips. So what can you do actually with this Lightning address? And this is also very unique to Alby. We worked on a landing page. You maybe have come across the term of value for value. What is basically behind that is that you as a website operator, as a content creator, service provider, for example, you provide value to your audience, right? And now you also have the chance to ask for contributions or for value in terms of Bitcoin payments back from your audience in a very simple way by using a Lightning address. And what can you do that? It's basically you can, for example, add that on existing platforms, such as your own website. Just put a Lightning address, or we call it the meta tag, in the HTML header section of your website. And people can send you tips directly through the Alby extension. You can also add it to other content distribution platforms like Twitter. If you add this Lightning address in the bio of your Twitter profile, Alby can detect that. Same works for YouTube. You can add it either in the video description or in the About section. And the interesting part here is that users, they don't have to leave leave the video. They can keep watching it, and if there is whatever scene is super funny for them, they can show their appreciation by sending you some subs. And they don't have to leave the video, but can keep watching it. And instead of giving a cut of 30% to YouTube, everything lands directly in your account. Bitcoin TV, it's based on PeerTube. There's also the possibility of add a Lightning address to the video description there. We also recently added Reddit to the list of content distribution platforms. And currently, we are also working on, for example, Medium as a blogging platform, so that you can also directly monetize there through Lightning. So these are quite a bunch of, I think, very nice use cases where you can already use Alby, and they're all about like content monetization, giving people back the value that you consumed from them, but this time directly into their pocket. So you can now support your preferred or favorite publisher super easily with the Alby extension. And how this works, I can actually show you right now. So we can, for example, go on Twitter. Let's see. So here we have a Twitter profile with the Alby or with a Lightning address. It's important that you add this Lightning sign in the front. And what you can do then, you can open up Alby. Alby wakes up, as you see here, and you can send this person some Satoshi. Thanks, Sats received. Michael just received some Sats on his Twitter profile and Lightning address. So this is Twitter. We can also quickly check out how it looks like on YouTube. On YouTube, I show you this channel from Alby because there are also some videos already there on how to use the Lightning address portal that I've already shown you, where you can register your own Lightning address. And here there is, for example, in the About section, there is there's a Lightning address added, and this allows on the whole channel allows us to send some sats to this content creator. So let's say, and then you also have the possibility, for example, to add some comments. Let's say, great guide, for instance. And I can confirm. What you also see is the pre-image as a confirmation of that the payment was sent out. In this recent transaction list, you can see the payments that were sent with the pre-image and when they were sent and the amount. So, and beyond the tipping, Alby is also basically your very normal, like behaves as a very normal wallet. So you can send, you have a sending screen, you also have a receiving screen. So if you want to send and receive money to any random person, you can also do that with Alby. To finish this up regarding receiving payments on content distribution platforms like YouTube, Twitter, we can also quickly look at a website. In this case, we are on a content creator. This is called Note Signal Podcast. And they do German podcasts. And what they have, you already see that Alby is awake. If we click on that, I can send this person, and then you see also here, this does not only work with Alby's Lightning addresses, it works basically with any. And as we like this content a lot, we also give them some value back. Let's see. Oh. The transaction maybe is not yet through. But I can show you what is actually working behind that. So why this is enabled, basically, there is a meta tag added to the header section. You see this here. Here is the meta name, it's Lightning, and then there is the Lightning address, and this is detected by Alby. I think it's rather simple to add something like this to your website. This unfortunately did not work out, as you see in this request here and this error message. Let's see. Let's try another one. Shouldn't be that difficult. So there's also Kevin Rook, for example, has one. He's a podcaster also about Lightning, all stuff Lightning. And yes, it's detected. I sent some Satoshis. Can confirm. This time it worked out rather quickly. So yeah, this is how it works to receive some sats on content distribution platforms. I think one other interesting part is maybe, because I quickly jumped over it, how does it actually look like if you add your own wallet to Alby? And let I quickly show you the type of connectors that Alby is currently supporting. So if you don't have a own Lightning wallet or just want to quickly try out some things, then you can also use or create a new wallet with Alby. So you're really not limited to other external nodes and wallets. And then you can use this one. However, you can connect any remote LND node, any accounting system like LND Hub, LN Bits. Also Eclair is possible, for example. And then we have a bunch of like remote nodes, each with a also separate and more detailed instruction on how it works. So you can easily connect your Citadel, Umbrel, MyNode, or Start9 embassy, or wallets, for example, that are running on the Galloy backend, like Bitcoin Beach Wallet or Bitcoin Jungle Wallet. Yeah, the Raspberry Blitz connector is currently also being worked on and is under review, so it'll also be about to be published soon. Okay, now we've seen how this tipping works. We've seen how connecting your existing wallet works. And we can also quickly see how it, for example, works if you interact with an existing Lightning application. So therefore, we go on Stacker News. Oh, sorry, I have to log out first to show you how this. So I want to show you how the access basically works. For this, I have to go to this wallet, and I want to show you here how the login works and also how it works to add some funds to my Stacker News account and also withdraw some funds to be able to vote up some articles, right? So I can log in now with Lightning. They provide this through WebLN. All I have to do is click on it. I'm logged in now. You can see that I already have some sats here that I used before to vote up articles or to publish some articles. And now I can, for example, fund, let's say, because I have already some, I want to fund, generate invoice. So I request the invoice from the Web Lightning application. I confirm it. And now I also get the confirmation down here that I paid 10 sats. I just deposited 10 sats. Yeah, and you can see here that I just sent 10 sats out. So now I can go there and use the 10 sats that I got. Example on, yeah, here there's Shock the Web Lightning Hackathon. I love it. Let's vote it up. Can I even vote more? Yes, I can. Awesome. So yeah, this is how the interaction works. Super simple. And now let's say I also want to withdraw some sats, maybe that I've earned. For example, recently, I want to withdraw 10 sats, create an invoice. And I received the 10 sats in my wallet. So yeah, this is how the interaction works with a Lightning application. We can also see now, and another feature that I mentioned before is the budget feature, for example. Here we can go, for example, on makers.bolt.fun, a directory of Lightning applications that integrated our WebLN, or the majority of them. And let's see, so for example, I can, what it also allows me to vote on projects. And there's a Lightning address behind each project. So theoretically, the person's Lightning address, or who is like the Lightning address that is stored there, the person gets it also then directly there. Let's see, for example, WaveLag is a nice service. So I can, yeah, let's pay some sets to vote it up. Okay, now it asks me, do you really want to pay it? And I say, let's better set a budget so that you don't ask me all the time when I use this website for payments. But now I have a 25 budget. Okay. Also does not work. Let's see if it's something on our side. Okay, let's switch the wallet and try again. Now you see, I set the budget before the payment went directly through. I was not even asked, and you saw some confetti. So we can try this again on Alby. Oh, I paid 80. I hold a bit too long. I want to pay. Okay, but now I don't have enough budget, so that's why it's asking me again. So I have to confirm the payment now. And I see the confetti. Yeah, so this works. This is how the budget works. Really, the idea is to make it as easy as possible for users to send payments, so they don't even have to think about each and every time, oh, now I have to pay, now I have to pay. But it's just one-click payments. Okay, we've seen now several demos. So what makes it all possible behind is a protocol called WebLN. And what WebLN basically allows you, it's basically a set of specification for Lightning apps and client providers. So, for example, Stacker News is a Lightning app. The client provider would be Alby, the Alby browser extension, and it really facilitates the communication between web applications and user Lightning nodes. And it's also secure because it provides really this programmatic, as we have seen, and permissioned interface for an application that can now ask a user, so please send me a payment or give me an invoice so that I can send you a payment, and also different or for other functionalities. So for example, also Alby recently implemented key send, so you can also then directly send a payment to a node ID through Alby, yeah, if you implement WebLN. How this basically looks like is, now we are here on a client's browser, and it's you have a Lightning application running there here in this gray box. And what Alby does as a WebLN provider, but not only Alby, also Joule, for example, or Blue Wallet, they provide basically an API that you as a Lightning application can interact with. And then now they can directly interact through Alby with the Bitcoin Lightning network or the person's own wallet, own node on the other side. And the user then uses Alby as an agent to say, yes, no, please send payment, accept payment for instantly. And this is made possible through WebLN that is provided by these WebLN providers. And what are the benefits, basically, is you can create a better user experience, because WebLN allows for this programmatic interaction and really reduces the friction between a Lightning application and a user wallet. because you might have seen these QR codes before, and you actually do not need these QR codes anymore. So it also definitely looks way nicer if it's implemented properly, WebLN, because Alby fully speaks this WebLN language. And there is no need, for example, to get your handy out of your smartphone out of your pocket and scan a QR code to send a payment. It can all be done, for example, through your mobile wallet connected to Alby and then connected to the website. WebLN is ready. It's in use, and it's also secure because WebLN itself, it's just a specification that only describes how a application can interact with the Lightning Network or with the wallet or node on the Lightning Network. And there's usually no need to integrate any third-party library to allow these WebLN interactions. It's rather simple, so there's just only a few lines of code required, like send payment, ask for invoice, for example, or ask for the balance. And it could also be that, depends on how you implement it, there's actually less code needed because, for example, you do not have to show screens until the person paid a certain invoice. But all these, for example, invoice interaction that is basically outsourced to the client, meaning like the WebLN provider or Alby, because the extension interacts with the user, and you only have to give the command to the extension, but not like implement like any front end code or designs, because the application asks the user, do you accept this payment? Do you really want to send this, for example? And also an important thing here, it's complementary to LN-URL. So it's really a great enhancement to LN-URL. It could make things way more seamless, but how Alby implements it, LN-URL can also be used as a fallback method if WebLN is not available on this Lightning app. Yeah, so that's it. Like some final words before we get into the Q&A part of this presentation. So how can you get involved? So Alby is a fully open source project. It's been started 1 year ago. It's basically hosted by the great Bitcoin design community. They help us a lot here in terms of UI, UX, and make also a lot of very valuable connections. And it really does not matter whether you are a designer, developer, or like marketing wizard. Really, everyone is super welcome and can join the Alby community. So, for example, as a developer, you can check out the GitHub profile of Alby. If you're new to the space, just look out for good first issue tags. If you're a designer, you can look out. There are also special tags like design needed or design review needed, for instance. What we also, where's also a great need is some UX research in terms of onboarding, right? Because we want to get as many people on the Lightning Network as possible. So this has to be super simple for anyone. And also, how can we improve the, where we see quite some potential is in the topic of transaction lists, for instance. But yeah, if you are into marketing, I think we can never have enough guides, for example, on how to use Alby. Could be either like written guides, could be video guides. The same counts for how to connect your own node to Alby. Also here, any guide is highly appreciated. Where can you find us? You can usually go to the Bitcoin design community Slack and look for the Lightning browser extension channel. You can join the Telegram group at t.me/getalby. Or if you want to see what's really going on, like what people are working on, just dial into the weekly community calls on Mondays. And as a designer, there's also a Figma board that you can see. And it would be really great if I can see some of you in the Slack channel or in the community calls. Yeah, now I'm open for questions.
Cool. Thank you so much, Moritz. That was really awesome. Really great to learn a lot more about the Alby project and how things are kind of working over there. I think John's is just hopping in now. I saw a couple of questions come through in the YouTube chat, so perhaps we can sort of list off a few of those. I think I saw an interesting one from J Deluxe. I'll try and post it in the chat now, just so you can also read that through. Johns, how you doing?
All good, all good. Yeah, I was going to read out the J Deluxe one. Yeah. So J Deluxe says, I have my own nodes. Is it possible to configure the Alby extension to use my node and a Lightning address as well, or a custom address like a domain name? I think I mentioned that there's the native connector as well for the Tor connections in case someone's behind Tor.
Yeah. So also, like either you have a public node, like a URL, or you have a onion address because your node is running behind Tor. Doesn't matter. You can now both rather simple in a rather like convenient way connect to Alby. What you just have to do is if you have a node running behind Tor during the onboarding process, you are asked, do you want to download a sort of like companion app? And this allows basically to connect your browser to the node through Tor, because for browsers it's still rather tricky to do these connections, but
I'm not sure if Moritz cut out right at the end there. I think maybe your last sentence, Moritz, might have been cut from that. Sorry.
So did I answer this question, or is there part left?
No, I think that covers it. There was also a question from earlier about like value for value, but I think you also covered some of that like generally in the talk as well. Can I ask you a question about like what are you hoping to see and come out of this hackathon? Some people are still looking for teams. They're still trying to figure out projects. There's still a lot to learn and stuff like that. Is there some stuff that you and the Alby team are hoping to see come out? Some cool applications of WebLN and
yeah, definitely. And also if there are some people who are still looking for some ideas, they can also join they can approach me directly on the Bitcoin Design Slack, and we can discuss some ideas. So I'm always happy to share some thoughts there. But I think at the end, like just experiments, see what's possible. You are not like limited to any proprietary payment rails anymore. And I think the biggest value that we get out of these hackathon is just as many prototypes as possible to showcase how cool the Lightning Network is and what you can do with that.
Yeah, I would definitely take Moritz up on that offer because I know some of you guys are still trying to figure out like all this tech and stuff. We're gonna get J Deluxe at some point to give you like if you want a primer. He offered, hey, I didn't volunteer him. He offered if you need some more knowledge about Bitcoin and the Lightning Network. He has a presentation he put together. So I guess he could do that in the lobby. That's probably a good idea. Or maybe we could try to figure out how to get it on the schedule. But yeah, he's in the chats there to help you understand about some of the underlying technology. And Moritz is there to help you figure out what to do on the application layer. Do you have can you reveal some ideas to us? Like, what do you got? Like, what would you love to see?
Yeah, what I like is don't know, like somehow to integrate in, for example, in newsletter, some like sort of like viral mechanisms, for example, that if you read, or that you incentivize people to read through newsletters properly, for example, if you scroll down once you reach the end, that you also receive then a small payment, or for example on magazine websites that there is, for example, there is this Bitcoin Carrot application, I think, from Bitcoin Magazine. It's only on mobile, and the idea is that you incentivize people to read Bitcoin Magazine's articles. But it's just on mobile, right? And with the Alby browser extension and with WebLN, it's also super simple actually to build that also for bitcoinmagazine.com, like for the web app. And what you can do is just, I mean, you receive already payments from advertisers. You can now forward these payments or use these payments to directly incentivize more readers and attract more readers to these content platforms. For example, just by giving them some sats if they've scrolled through the whole website.
Yeah, I really like the idea that Carrot does, which is like these question answer kind of stuff. There's so many cool opportunities. I think scrolling to the bottom, I'm definitely gonna just like hold down my my down button because I don't have a page down anymore on my keyboard. They removed it, but I can just keep holding that down. But with the quizzes and stuff, that also gets quite interesting, right?
Yeah.
So every article is kind of like a quiz.
Well, I mean, it depends a bit how these content platforms are paid, right, from advertisers. If they are paid for like also just stupid visits, then they also benefit from just people scrolling down.
That's very true. But like I'm actually thinking about how this value for value thing could be quite circular in a way, because for instance, okay, so if the magazine, like Bitcoin Magazine, has a paywall, right, so that funds go into the system, like up to the author, let's say it goes directly to the author, or some to the author, some to the magazine. It goes, someone pays for the paywall, or a bunch of people pay for the paywall, and then with something like a quiz, it means that the funds are going back out, right?
Mm-hmm.
It goes back to the user. So I think these mechanisms are really interesting to think about. Of like, like now we could control like the flow of money and create these very interesting mechanisms and create some new business models from that.
Totally agree.
Maybe it doesn't make any sense. Maybe it does. It's an idea.
No, I mean, what we have now is we have an additional channel to create some interactions, direct interactions now with the user, and both benefit immediately. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's going to be super interesting with like the Bolt 12 stuff as well. So then you don't need to spin up that server and for the LN URL, but yeah, it's all super exciting, Yeah. All right, I'm going to pass it off to Edward now. What's up, Edward?
All right, thanks a lot. Then I would switch off.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. I should probably start paying some sats for that. Yeah, cool. Moritz, thank you so much for coming along. Really stoked to have you here. And yeah, for those of you who are sort of just joining in now, this is Moritz from Alby. So go check out their project at www.getalby.com. Download the browser extension, get some sats in the wallet, and start playing around with some cool web apps. So
thank you.
Thanks, Moritz. We're looking forward to hearing you soon and having you mentor other people. So cheers. We'll catch you soon.
Bye.
Thanks, Moritz.
Ciao.
All right. I do want to put a few shout outs. I've been having some conversations with folks in the Slack. So just want to highlight a few things. So some people are still looking for teams. If you're looking for a team, post on the Slack channel, say, hey, this is what I want to do, or this is my idea. If you don't have ideas, contact Moritz. contact me as well. I think what's it called? Ed has some some mock-ups that he's been working on over the weekend. So if you wanna see like some cool stuff to make, reach out to those guys. Also, we have Ben Ark, who wants to make a LN Bits and a Maker Bits team. Not sure what those projects are going to be, but yeah, reach out to Ben Ark in the Slack. We also have Alphonse. Oh no, sorry, he's asking for the link for this live stream, so sent it to him. There's also Kate, who wants to work on some stuff with merchants and accessibility. So there's a team called LN Shop. You could search for the channel. It's called Team-LN Shop. A project proposed by Rohan and some other folks in the Bold Fun channel. So they're doing some e-commerce like stuff. I'm not sure exactly if there's going to be some UI stuff, but yeah, reach out to Rohan. He's doing some e-commerce stuff. If anyone else has project ideas, drop them in the chat. And yeah, because teams are still forming. Don't worry, it's a whole week. That's why we put it on for a week. You're gonna have time to figure out what all these stuff are. And I see a cool hat in the background, so I don't know if I could convince Ed to wear it at some point. But how many sets for Ed to wear the hat? Oh, okay, that was a free one.
Well, you're going to be paying for this one, John. Yeah, Cowboy Ed is now ready for the hackathon.
Let's go, Cowboy Ed. All right. What else do we have? Wait, is that a guitar behind there?
Now you will have to definitely pay some sats for that performance, and even more to wear the hat whilst I perform.
Do they come together, the hat and the and the guitar?
They might well do, yeah.
Yeah, so they might. Okay, gotcha. All right, so Eddie, what else do we have next?
So cool, yeah. Up next we have, I think it's in about 15 minutes. Is that correct, John? We have the first of our sort of 3 lightning design sprints from Peak Shift. So Johns and I are going to be hosting this one, and perhaps you can maybe give a little run through about what we're going to be doing, or we could just meet back in here. We could just ping pong between each other, or we could just come back here in about 10 minutes and sort of get things off with a soft launch. Happy with whatever you want to roll with there, Johns?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so originally we were planning to do kind of like these breakout rooms for design, for this design sprint, these lightning design sprints, where we could kind of like help facilitate you, figure out your idea and stuff like that. So because of how things have been going and the amount of teams so far, it might be a little difficult to do if there's only a few facilitators. So what I'm thinking is that we do kind of like one topic, like one project, and we focus in the design sprint throughout this week. And I think, as you suggested, maybe if other teams want to follow along somewhat into that process of like extracting information, we could just like lightly help them extract those information. Maybe some of the mentors could come in there as well. So we'll start off probably in the lobby. We'll go to the lobby and we will just convene there. Maybe we do a round of introductions again, and then try to kick off the design sprint with like a single topic. I don't know if we're gonna. Do you think we should crowdsource the project, or should we use one existing? Or
well, I mean, I think that would be cool. I think that if we do one sort of sprint, where there will obviously be a few of us involved. It'll be hopefully fun for us sort of facilitators and mentors to take part a little bit, give a bit of input. However, like, yeah, obviously this project, whilst sort of going through this sprint process, and hopefully we sort of can design and prototype something, because it's obviously run by us, it's not going to be going into the competition, or at least I assume it's not going to be going to the competition. So maybe I would say to people, if you want to hack on a really cool idea, you know, keep it a little bit hush hush for the time being. You don't have to, whatever it is that we work on will probably be something which is maybe a bit more of a sort of a general community effort. Or maybe one of the ideas which we sort of started discussing in the channel yesterday, whether that's sort of like a universal payment, or maybe a way of being able to create some sort of like service for sats. I've been creating a lot of animojis over the last few weeks, and it turns out I'm pretty talented at it. So I think I might have to start a side business selling animojis for sats. So we can probably run with a few different things, but perhaps that's actually what we can do in the lobby. Maybe we can spend the first like 15, 20 minutes just kind of everyone introducing themselves, and maybe we can kind of like discuss a few things and at least find sort of like a bit of a focus or a challenge for the hackathon before sort of asking some experts on how things can actually sort of be built. And it'd also probably be a great way, as John's mentioned, like we were going to run this sprint as something where we can kind of host a workshop where we say, okay, this is what we do in the first part of the sprint. Now everybody go away into your own Figma files and your breakout rooms, and we'll come and help you. But obviously with over or nearly 150 signups, we just don't have enough facilitation power to be able to do that. So we want to try and give you the best value possible, whilst also being able to sort of keep it manageable. So perhaps the best thing we do is we focus on one project for the sprint, but maybe we try and invite other people who are sort of taking part to kind of take part in this sort of extra project, whether it's giving some ideas or asking some questions for the experts, because hopefully we'll sort of work on something which is relatable to multiple projects in terms of whether it's like the back end or the front end, or how things are going to be designed or work together, or even using some of the UI kits. So hopefully a lot of the information will be relatable. That being said, we would like to provide links to sort of Figma templates and files. So, you know, if you're watching this and you would like to go away and do your own thing and you feel confident being able to do that without a facilitator being there to sort of help you out, then please go ahead and do it. You know, this is one of the reasons why we're doing these things, is for educational purposes. So if you would like to do that, then we'll make sure that those things are available for you. You can do that at the time, or you can do it sort of afterwards. Anything more to add there, Johns?
Yeah, Alex also, Alex and Lubin, they just released the 3D 3Bs resource as well. So a bunch of like 3D designs for Bitcoin applications. So if you want to check that out, it's somewhere in the Slack, I think. Yeah, it's high up in the Slack. Things are getting kind of wild in there though, but I guess eventually, as the week continues, we'll start like breaking out into like sub Slacks. It's kind of weird. We're a sub community of the Bitcoin design community, and then there's going to be these teams that are sub. Anyway, it's multiple levels of inception going on.
Well, there's probably something worth touching on there, actually, just briefly. You guys might have seen Ben asked about where these sort of comms are going to be managed for inter-team chats and things like that. Obviously, feel free to use Slack. The Bitcoin Design Slack is there and really available. That's obviously where we're going to be running most of the comms for Bolt Fun in the Bolt Fun channel. So sort of news, events, links to chats, things like that. That's where everything's going to be done. However, you know, if you are already working with a team and you guys are already set up using something like Discord or Telegram, and you want to keep things private between you guys, then feel free to carry on using those lines of communications. Although if you would like to open up a channel in the Slack, feel free to do it. I think John said that there's already a team which is just called team-ln shop. So maybe just to make it easier and discoverable, just start it off with team dash something, and then at least we know that you're probably part of the Shop the Web project. But if you are doing something private in terms of your communications, if you have a Telegram chat already with all of your team, just make sure that if you do want to sort of get in touch with mentors and things like that, that you try and be as convenient as possible, and we ask you to sort of go where they are, because they're going to have a lot of traffic coming through and they're going to have a lot of people to help out. So it would be as easy as possible if everyone sort of does that in one place, which hopefully would be Slack. So yeah, I think it's quite a lot of information there to distill. Hopefully we haven't missed too much. Feel free to interrupt me if I have missed anything.
Yeah, well, I think we're about to start running late, or we're late already on the design sprint, aren't we?
Sure. It's meant to start in 4 minutes, I think. So,
perfect.
Shall we hop over to the lobby then, or to the workshop link? And the second question is, I presume we're going to be streaming the first hour?
Yeah, let's go ahead.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. So if everybody wants to, I'll post the link in actually the link should already be in the Slack channel. It should be pinned to the top. There is a Jitsi meeting link. As you can see, it's meet.jit.c or si/shocktheweb -lobby. So head over there, and hopefully we can get a little bit of interaction from all of you guys as we start this next sprint.
Let's go, guys. The stream will begin shortly again, but let's hop over to the lobby. Let's go.
Live streaming is on.
All right. Well, actually, everyone's good with the live stream, I'm hoping.
Not sure if a couple of people just dropped off there because of that comment, but hopefully not. Hopefully everyone's all right with the live streaming.
Yeah, and that's why I think it's possible that the workshops maybe we might want to not stream. I'm curious. How's it going, Boomy? How are you enjoying this Shock the Web first day?
Super cool. Nice to get it started. Cannot wait to see the results and get hacking, actually.
Hey, it's about the journey, not the destination.
That's what I'm saying. I can't wait to get the hacking and see what's going on.
Are you going to be hacking on any applications?
Get into some code. I guess I will try to help out here and there.
All right. So people are still looking for ideas and stuff. Do you have any suggestions? I asked Moritz the same question. What kind of stuff would you love to see using WebLN and these Lightning backends of LN and stuff?
I mean, I'm always reminded about the conversations that we had, right? Or that you mentioned a few times. Apps that create the most invoices or create the most payments. So whatever it is, the more payments, the better it is. Yeah, to try to do some load testing on the Lightning Network, maybe.
And Shock the Web, the Lightning Network.
Shock the Web in the literal sense, exactly.
Oh yeah. So just for everybody, it's possible to, for free, create these things called invoices, and they're the payment destinations, right? And it's free to do it. So that means you could create hundreds of them. I do think some nodes have like a limit to the amount of HTLCs that can be generated, but anyway. So you could literally make an application that just like creates a bunch of these invoices and presents it to the user some fun way. And you have to figure out how to get them to pay those invoices as well, because it's one thing to generate them, it's the other thing to make someone part of their money.
But as one specific thought that came actually up in a conversation recently was a bookmarking service.
It's on.
But you have to pay sats to bookmark your website, or because I always have too many tabs open. And to solve that problem, the idea was like, okay, you have to pay some sats, and the more sats you pay, the you can get the tab open or something like that.
That's super interesting. Is an extension able to lock into the to the tab creation API in the browser?
I don't know. It could be. Would need to be figured out.
Well, that's what we're here for. Hey, Jensen, a fellow Jitser, a few fellow Jitsers, Precious.
Hello.
Subirax.
Really, can the extensions do all the web dev stuff in Google Chrome, like the serial UART stuff and the web dev Bluetooth? Can it do all that? An extension potentially?
They should. I'm not sure about that, to be honest. I've never used that, but all these extensions have a bunch of permissions that these need to request, and I think it should be possible. And generally, everything should be possible that you can do where there is a web API for that.
Yeah, it's nice. You can have like a UI for a hardware wallet in a Chrome extension. Would work quite well.
Yeah, that should be possible.
We got about 14 people here. People are still looking for teams, trying to figure out ideas on things to hack on. Ben Ark.
With the teams, how does it work with the team? Because so what exactly is a team?
What is a team? Well, first off, there's no I in team, right? So that's one thing.
Well, there is a me.
There is a me. That is true. Quite a conundrum here.
So is a team just a collection of people who get together and they want to build like a project together, or they want to propose something together, or could someone in a team be working on their own project which they're going to submit to the competition? Oh, it's Jay or Jay are going to submit to the competition for the prizes, or so like if I make an LN Bits team, does it make sense for whoever's working on like an extension for one of our own internal bounties? Does it make sense that they make their own team if there were like a few of them working on it, or would that be under one LN Bits team where they can all talk to each other?
Yeah. So I would say that there will be like one project per team kind of thing. I think that would be the most realistic. If someone wants to be 2 projects per team, I don't know, but if it's like a group of people working on one project, then I guess I would classify as a team. I'm trying to figure this out also, guys. So.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I like the unconferencing thing. It's good. It's the way it's supposed to be. Sort of,
Let's go, right?
yeah. See the sausage being made in public, and also you get all the input then, so you end up with a functional model which you can take to the next hackathon. Then, exactly. And all the creases publicly. It's good, but it's very it's always a little bit more ambitious to do what you're doing, but it works out for the best in the end. And then MakerBits, the MakerBits a lot as well. So MakerBits is people who are kind of interested in Bitcoin hardware, such as Jake, for example. And we do things like we make these like little points of sales. So this is like a £15 point of sale, which you actually use it offline as well, which is pretty cool. Because you can't do that with normal legacy stuff, can you? But you can use it offline, Lightning, accept a Lightning payment offline. So anyway, so the MakerBits group channel community, we're interested in that sort of stuff, like, you know, making our own hardware wallets, which is why I asked me that question, making our own points of sale, arcade machines and ATMs and all that stuff. So we were thinking about maybe having another team for MakerBits, because I mean, Jay, if you want to talk about some of the stuff you've been doing, it's pretty cool. Or not, you don't have to.
Jay's on the spot.
I was muted. Sorry, guys. I'm back. Too many windows open. No, I mean, yeah, Ben, it's really cool. And you know why it's cool? It's because I'm just going in your I'm just following you. I just reproduce what you do and try to make it work, basically. So offline point of sale is really something that would help humanity all together. User experience is really important. I spent some time, and I'm spending a lot of time actually now, more and more time in El Salvador, where you know what happened in El Salvador with Bitcoin. And people over there are not. It's a developing country, right? So it's not so. These guys, a lot of them are not versed when it comes to computing altogether. So let alone Lightning Network and Bitcoin. I don't know what I can say about this offline point of sale, because Ben just showed you the little box that he just showed you on the camera here. It's really well done. People can use it, but still education is key. We really have to take people one after the other and explain that stuff. And this is what I'm working on more than coding and development stuff. Like I said, I just copy paste what I find on GitHub from Ben and other projects. Something that I find really interesting as well is I was not using GitHub at all. Although I do computing, I do development. I used to do a lot of development in the past 10 years ago. But GitHub is really something that's, everybody should be able to use GitHub nowadays. It's something that anybody should be able to use the same way they use a web browser. This is really something that's, we've got a lot of potential, and we have to wake people one after the other. I forgot the plot. I forgot what I wanted to say.
No, I 100% agree with you. I mean, like you say, it's education, teaching the tools, but then it's like it's the empowering people thing. So like, you teach people tools and then let them use those tools to then help themselves, like teach them Git. I mean, I never had to use Git before I started working on like free and open source stuff, and then suddenly I had to start understanding again. When you realize how powerful it is, it's just perfect for building a project together, and you can work on projects you don't even know each other, and you're contributing into this project. But so learning Git is like so important for people. But the educating on things like the little DIY point of sale things, I'm really into the idea of empowering like little local, business dudes, kids, whatever. They spin up a node and then they manufacture a bunch of these. They give them to a bunch of cafes or bars, and then the cafes or bars are then like using their node to do payments in a custodial way, and they charge a transaction fee for that service. But then they say to the cafes and bars, look, I won't charge you this transaction fee, and I'll show you how to set up your own shit, but I will charge like a consultancy fee. And like building these little business models for someone in somewhere like El Salvador, for example, with some fairly intermediate computer knowledge, they'll be able to make for like 100 quid. They can make a bunch of these. They could spin up a thing on a VPS, a node on a VPS, and they could be providing like Lightning services for the local community, and they could have like a business which is making money within a short period of time. So I reckon that's like, rather than, I don't know, I mean, you're the one who's been there doing the footwork. And also I'll have to say as well, this isn't all me. This is like, there's a community, thank God there's a community of people who have done all this. Like the case, for example, I didn't do the case, and it's absolutely fantastic. it fits together so nicely and snugly. That was by a guy called Black Coffee. So props to him if he's watching. But the giving them, like, airdropping them to them and then showing people one at a time works, I suppose. But like actually like teaching people who would then propagate their own little networks and have I don't know, that seems like the sort of like the power play. But I haven't been there doing the legwork, so I you know, I'm just speculating, as it were.
And if I may add, one of the blockers is it's really hard to figure out or to gauge the level of knowledge of anyone you collaborate with when it comes to Lightning and Bitcoin. So that's why, Jones, I suggested, I've got slides ready. If anyone is just starting his journey or her journey on Lightning Network and they need to have a 101 and or a refresher to get this flying, just ping me and I'll be happy to organize maybe tomorrow a little hour or two to go through slides and explain through the lens of newbies or people who don't understand at all. You're not alone. Just ping me and I'll be happy to help you with that.
Yeah, and this kind of like collaborative learning thing is like really what we want to kind of like emphasize very much. The reason why we're like focusing on like web technologies and like, you know, JavaScript developers or Python developers and stuff like that, it's because it's two of the most like accessible languages for development. You could build quite a lot of stuff and see it quite live. There's other services like CodePen, which you can use. You can build your entire app in CodePen without, or in GitHub without ever installing anything on your computer. You can reach out to me. I'm going to be available pretty much all the time for the next week. So we'll see how much sleep I get with that because we're dealing with several time zones. But yeah, if you need any advice on like getting your tooling and stuff set up, please reach out. I would also like to hear from some of the folks who are jumping in here. We have Kate, we have Jensen, David. Jensen, you got your camera on. You up for talking? You're muted. Hey, you're gonna pay some sats. That's gonna be the rules.
Hi there.
Hey, Jensen.
So I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.
I run a C Lightning node first on testnet since 2018, and then 2020 on mainnet. And at the moment, it's running from home and on a recycled MacBook Pro, an old one from 2012. And so I can recommend that. Recycling old MacBooks, that's wonderful because it does not get warm at all. I mean, I can make it. In Linux, I can set the CPU frequency the lowest, and it manages everything. It can run a Lightning node, Bitcoin node, and actually I run many other Bitcoin testing networks nodes for the fun, for people to learn. And
that's very awesome. Do you have any experience of WebLN as yet? And like
yes, only thanks to one link you mentioned a few days earlier. So I have added the meta tag to ln.anyone.eu.org. And I was already talking to Boomi because there is some issue with C Lightning. And yeah, but I will figure it out eventually.
All right. ln.anyone.eu.org, you said?
Yes, that's it. That's in the chat.
Look, now you already have a Lightning application. Look how easy that was.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Great for chatting and finding these things.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah.
You have to
I used to work for Red Hat and was finding bugs in Linux.
Oh, wow, that's hardcore. That's quite hardcore. Nice. Do you plan on hacking on anything during this week?
Yes, actually, I have my teammate from Texas.
Oh,
so he did not show up yet. It's not his time.
yeah. The difficult thing is, how do you deal with all these different time zones? But yeah.
Yeah, but we are planning to do something. He's a JavaScript React guy.
Perfect.
So I think we will be able to hack something.
Yeah. Okay, but where's the designer on your team?
Yeah, maybe, but let's see.
Is it open for designers? Because Kate's looking for something. I think.
Sorry, Kate?
Yeah, Kate's looking for
I
something.
was already talking to Kate.
Yeah. Oh, perfect. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Okay, so we have some back channel stuff happening and stuff.
Sure.
Yeah, that's very good. All right, cool. Is it a secret what you're working on, or?
Generally, Lightning channel advertisements, which are the C Lightning only thing so far.
Okay. So you're gonna be able to pay for those ads with WebLN or something?
I'm not sure yet about the idea. We'll think about it.
We'll think about it. Okay. Well, Boomy's here. He's a mentor. He's going to be available, I think, tomorrow. Also, he's having a workshop on Thursday.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Yeah, the workshop tomorrow.
Tomorrow, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So a workshop tomorrow. Boomy, maybe you could talk a little bit about the workshop.
At 4, actually. 4 CET. 4 p.m. CET. Yeah, sure. So I plan to walk through some of the concepts on that can be used to integrate Lightning functionality into web applications. What kind of components we need, what libraries are out there already. How that can look like with a backend, without a backend, and yeah, that's basically it, I guess.
That's going to be a really awesome workshop, guys. It's going to give you like the whole full rundown on like the technical side of how to build a Lightning application. Anyone else wants to come up and introduce themselves and talk about what they're doing? You could just unmute yourself and start talking. Jensen, I'm trying to create also a list of teams. So if you can create a channel with like the team prefix, team hyphen, and then I could just have them listed out so people kind of like could discover what's going on a bit better.
Okay. Should I send it to you now here or on Slack?
Yeah, you can send it in Slack. Yeah, it's fine. Whenever you're available and ready for it. Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone's shy. Everyone's kind of shy here. What's up?
Is this backwards? Or is this the way around?
Hey guys, what's up?
Sorry, Benny, you're talking about something on your video? Or?
Yeah, my video. Can you see a price when I speak? Can you see the price? The Bitcoin price? Can you see it in the video, like here?
It looks like your connection is...
Oh, so I've got no video.
Currently non-optimal, so I can't actually see your video.
That's a shame.
But I'm kind of excited to see this now. So
I was just so basically, is this my right? This is like it's my right or my left hand.
Well, we don't see none of your hands.
Oh, you don't see any of my hand. Okay, well, that's a fail right there. So I'll see if I can come back in and do it that way.
In the meantime, Rohan, you were about to say something. Nice to see you here.
Yeah, sure, no problem. Hi guys, I'm Rohan Smith. Primarily a web developer. I've been doing web dev for quite a while, and I've been recently excited about Bitcoin. I went to the conference in El Salvador. I met a couple of people, including Ben, and I went through the last Lightning seminar in Chain Code. Yeah, I see just on here from Chain Code. So I've just been, taking that deep dive into Bitcoin development, and I saw this as an opportunity so we could do something interesting. I have like a million ideas, but I chose one particular one that I think I want to start to do this for this hackathon. So one thing I realized, well, I haven't seen a simple way to do is like just getting an e-commerce site started like easily for like a non-tech person. There's BTC Pay server, but you actually need a server. You need to set up the backend and so on. But I'm thinking something more Shopify-esque, where just a guy who runs a store selling like like toys or something. I don't know, right? He wants to sell something online, but he wants to start e-commerce using Lightning. And I'm from the Caribbean, where we don't have instant access to stuff like Stripe, right? So setting up e-commerce in the Caribbean is like terribly difficult. And I'm sure it's like that for other countries, developing countries. So just being able to set up e-commerce, I wanted something very easy, where anyone could just get some code through on a static server or static site and get it running. As I said, it's kind of Shopify with a template already built for you, all that built in. So that's the idea I came up. Someone mentioned the name LN Shop. I'm not sure if that's the name we're going to use, but that's perhaps the code name for now. So we're just going to build I want to build like a highly front-end based app that allows people to just create their e-commerce store or point of sale terminal, or anything that allows you to add products and create invoices in a quick, instant manner. And we should require very low setup, very little installation, very little maintenance, and could integrate with a lot of no-code tools, perhaps like Airtable to manage the database, or stuff to make it very easy for non-tech people to use. So yeah, that's my idea. I reached out to a bunch of people. A couple of people reached out to me, so I think we're getting ready to figure out how to get this thing started. So yeah,
we have in Allenbits, we've got an extension called Diagonally, which is going to be like a clever fucking censorship resistant marketplace thing. But we are going to have for the products you list on there, because you can put in products and the shipping zones, all that sort of stuff. We are going to put in just like a launch as a static site button, and then that will just launch like you say, like a web page with then a payment portal, so you can pay for your products. But what that would mean is you could either run it on your own server, or you could use somebody else's Allenbits. So if someone else had an Allenbits installed on the internet, you could just go into, go make an account, activate that extension, add some products, and then launch that shop. So it's kind of similar, but
what's that called?
It doesn't exist. It's a half-built extension, which I'm actually going to showcase in Miami, which is the Diagonally is the original name of the extension. But it'll allow for like a static page of products. Like once it does like a clever censorship-resistant marketplace thing, but you can also just launch it as a static page of products. What the benefit of it being that it's quite easy to connect to any funding source of your own, because you can, well, it depends. I suppose if you're using someone else's custodial Allenbits and you were just using their custode, whatever they're using. But if you're running it on your own node, then it would be kind of easy to kind of launch. Because I think that's going to be, so like for your users, where's the money, where the invoice is going to be generated.
Right. So I was thinking, because I was thinking it could be so easy where you drop in your Lightning address, and so if you have something with
that works nice.
Right. So it hooks up directly with the Lightning address, and all the funds just go to your address.
Because in the Lightning address itself, you can specify the amount as well in the JSON, which comes back. I was talking to Bummy about this, how like LNURL Pay is so useful for a service like yours, like a live service where a user could just drop in their LNURL Pay, and that can be a funding source, and they can have that from their wallet Satoshi or their Phoenix wallet or whatever else, or their LNTX bot. The LNURL people, protocol people, they're kind of a bit reluctant. There's a bit of pushback from it, from the idea, which is a shame, because like, so what's something you'll need is you'll need to be able to verify that the payments actually happened. So if I generate the LNURL Pay on wallet Satoshi and then I give it to your service, someone pays for a product. Now you need to be able to verify as the external service from where the LNURL Pay was generated. You need to be able to verify that that payment actually happened. And currently in LNURL Pay, there's no way of doing that. There's no way of hitting an endpoint and saying, did this thing get paid? Other than trying to pay the thing yourself and then seeing that it gets rejected because it's already been paid. And it's we've been on the LNURL. Maybe you can join us in our fight on the LNURL protocol Telegram group, saying it makes perfect sense. You've got an LNURL Pay, someone pays it, and then a service which is not the same server, because I think the assumption is that when someone pays an LNURL Pay, they're paying the server which generated the LNURL Pay, but you're not. In this circumstance, you're paying like wallet of Satoshi's, the LNURL Pay, which is generated on wallet of Satoshi. For those who don't know, sorry, that the behind a Lightning address is an LNURL Pay. That's why I keep saying LNURL Pay. So you're not the server which has generated that thing, which means that you can't verify that the payments actually happened. So we just need in the protocol, the LNURL protocol, an endpoint to say, has this been paid? And then whichever the LNURL server is, if it supports that that functionality, or say yes, it has been paid. Like if wallet Satoshi supports that functionality, it will just say yes, true or false. So yeah, that's it's great actually, because these sorts of events, just like in Istanbul, I wanted that functionality, and then I spoke to Boomi, who also wanted that functionality, and now I've spoken to you, and you've given another good example of why that functionality would be very useful for like a front end type service, centric service, where the user can still actually have the funds go directly to them. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, I've been trying to push this name LNURL Verify, just to put it out there, to verify payments. And yeah, I think it could be like another spec, but yeah, was part of that discussion as well, and we'll see.
Oh, you've thought about LNURL Verify as well?
Yeah, because I think me and Boomi were talking about it on a volcano lake, hacking on Makers.Bolt Fun.
Cool, yeah.
So guys, we wanted an awesome place to build the Makers.Bolt Fun application, and we found a volcano lake in El Salvador, and myself and Boomi struggled to get this application built out, and yeah, that's like the backstory. But each of the projects on Makers.Bolt Fun, they have a Lightning address behind them, so the funds don't actually go to us; it goes to the creator of the project, potentially. I say potentially because the project has to claim the creator has to claim the project first, and the point is that it goes to this Lightning address, and since that happens, the only thing that the extension gets back, that the extension gives us, is something called a pre-image. So anytime a payment is made, you get returned this thing called a pre-image. But what you're paying is this invoice, right? And in the invoice, it has like this payment destination stuff. And then there's this pre-image hash in there. I think that's correct. And what you're able to do is to compare the pre-image hash with the hash of the pre-image, like the final pre-image that you get, and you'll be able to like verify if the payment was made, because the only way to get the pre-image is by paying. But yeah, so a slight problem is that, if the extension disconnects, browser crashes or something before you get to get the image, the website able to get the image, then you don't really know what happened, and you end up in a situation like what Beharry said, which the only way to find out if the invoice was paid is by paying the invoice, which obviously could be a problem.
We should go on force to the LNURL protocol Telegram group and force them to implement LNURL Verify.
Yeah, we we need a LN URL verify mafia. Nasser, you wanted to say something? Nasser. I'm screwing up everyone's names for sure. I don't think he's there.
That's actually great, Rohan. So I'm just going to jump in. That's actually great, Rohan, because like as you were talking, I was thinking, oh, the best way to do this would be on LN bits. But actually, with that, if we can get LN URL verify, just have literally like a Shopify thing, and they just give you a Lightning address, and that's all you need. And then someone can just accept payments for products. It's cool.
Yeah, I love that. Super cool. Yeah.
And Rohan, about your project, I think because like it requires like you're going to be focused like a lot on the front end.
Yeah, well, I've been talking to a few designers because I'm not a big front end guy. I do mostly back end work, so I've been talking to a few designers just to see what we can do. So hopefully we can get some good work.
Okay, so like if anyone needs help to understand some of the LN URL stuff, Ben is a mentor, and he could walk you through like some LN bits related stuff, especially join his workshop on that. There's a few features of LN URL that a project like Rohan's could use. For instance, there maybe you want to keep track of your customers, but you don't want to take all their like you don't want to take email addresses or something like that. So what you can actually do, you could use LN URL auth to do authentication to the website. And what that does, it kind of like generates this what do you call it? Okay, I don't want to go into the technical stuff. I'm probably mess it up, but it gives you this like a cryptographic way to log in without a password, because you're signing something. You're signing these messages basically. Ben will probably.
I'll be honest, I don't know how LN URL works either. All I do know is that LN URL auth has really nothing to do with Bitcoin, but the things which Lightning wallets do allow it to work well on a Lightning wallet. But you could have another application do it as well, just as good, if it was using the same, like you say, the same like signing stuff, which your wallet is able to do. But yeah, LN URL auth is great. I need to look into supporting it more. Man, I keep thinking about the LN URL verify thing. All the possibilities, because you could just have like an online wallet and you just give it your LN URL. I mean, your LN URL address is just like, oh no, that wouldn't work. I was going to say because it's just in your browser. Oh, actually, no, it would work. Like it could just be stored on local storage, so you can have like an online wallet UI thing. But the actual thing is it's all, you know, because you're using that wallet on your phone or whatever on your computer, and then the address is just stored in local storage, and then requests for invoices are just done in locally. They're not done using like some centralized server or anything. It's just cool. Like you could use that as a wallet, you know, legitimate wallet, just by using an LN URL LN address. Yeah. So, but yeah, LN URL auth is great as well. If anyone interested, Google LN URL protocol, and then look through the different types of LN URL there are.
Yeah,
I think
we got go on.
I was just going to say, I think I smell a hackathon project coming along here, maybe.
Bullying the LN URL protocol into LN URL verify. It would be great if that came out of this hackathon, though.
Any other projects? I like doing these kind of like case study kind of things, like breaking down the project. I didn't finish with Rohan. So yeah, you could for logging in, instead of asking customers email, you could use LN URL auth, and then obviously the payments using like WebLN and stuff like that. And in the back end, you can use LN bits to be able to grab those invoices. It does support LN URL Pay already. So there's an extension in LN bits that you can just activate. And maybe let's post a link to that as well. LNbits.com, I think. So here's the LN bits website. right? And you can click on, I think the latest one is the Infinity demo.
No, so basically we've confused everybody by this. So Infinity is amazing. It's this incredible new system, which, but we haven't tested it. Like Legend is you know, the supported software which the community was built around, and we're hardening and we're pushing it to get out of beta. But we have this really cool like experimental thing called Infinity, which is a Go version. Am I still? Can you still hear me?
Yeah, we can still hear you.
Oh, yeah. There's a which is a version written in Go, but for now, just kind of work on the Legend version until we can kind of like play around and test the Infinity version a little bit more. But yeah, this is great for a developer. I actually think Rohan doesn't need it if you get this LN verify thing in. He doesn't actually need.
Yeah, I actually installed LN bits on my own server already, so I'm familiar with how it works.
Yeah, exactly.
I've done the API. Like I've done generating invoices through the LN bits API.
Yeah, so you have each wallet's got its own API, and then you have all these extensions, and all these extensions are just like a little slither of functionality, which allows you to do interesting things on top of Lightning. So it's kind of a good playground. And then sometimes it's quite useful to like include as part of your stack. In Rohan's case, though, I don't think it would be useful to include a part of his stack because it's not necessary. Yeah, this is a payment splitting extension, which I hope will. Why are you demoing such a thing? I hope it will work. I think we had might have had a bug in the payment splitting extension. The listener wasn't working, I don't think, in the back end, which I'm using, so it might not automatically. Look at that, see, invalid wallet. You put in the same wallet twice, I think. Yeah. Oh no, you put in your user credentials. So split payments. This is kind of a bit cutting edge. Quite often as well, we're quite sci-fi, so we're like, oh, this would be cool if we made this thing. We make an extension, and then we don't. That's it. That's the wallet ID. We don't take it beyond that. This is actually one of the hardest extensions to actually use, so it's terrible for a demo. But the concept is that you get a payment into a wallet, and then it can split that payment into other wallets, into a bunch of other wallets. Yeah, I think you're probably trying to split to the same wallet.
I'm trying to break it.
You're trying to break it. You're trying to pay yourself. Yeah. But if you go to extensions and go to like, yeah, you can do like for the LN stuff, for example, you can easily make an LN pay, an LN withdraw. I tell you what we do need is like an easy way. We do have like a, if you go to manage extensions,
okay,
stop trying to use this extension. Yeah, we do have a Lightning address extension, but it's kind of like if you go down, but it's not for that's for if you've got like a URL and then you want to sell addresses, Lightning addresses on it, you can connect it to your Cloudflare and do that. But what would be nice is if, like, as an admin now who owns lnbits.com, if I could just in an easy way, because we have these admin extensions as well that I could just like, so we need another extension where I could just literally create them in the you know, in an admin way, which isn't kind of a front end way. Anyway, I was thinking about that earlier today. But if you go to like go back to manage extensions, if you go to, there's all sorts on here, but like a useful one is like if you go to TPOS, which is I think towards the bottom. There it is, TPOS. If you go to go, yeah, that's it. In this, you can make an easy point of sale, which you can use on your phone. So say if you've got a cafe and you have an LN Bits install, you have your node, and you just want your workers in your cafe to have access to a point of sale. Which what you're going to go for? LKR, create TPOS. There we go. If you open this, if you open on the left there, there's a little link. Right next to that ID thing. This is where I need. No, see where it says ID in that table. Next to that, there's a little link thingy. Probably be a bit more obvious. And then so you can if you click on the hashtag, right? So you could share that. If I scanned that with my phone, I could get that on my phone, and it works really nice in phone. And then to say if you put in an amount now, in fact, I'll do it now. In fact, I'll scan it. I'll get it on my phone.
Ooh,
and then
I'm getting money, guys. Let's go.
wait there. Leave that up just for a second.
Yeah.
While I slowly.
I'll help you. I'll make it bigger as well. Make it easy for you.
Wait there. No, it's me just being. Here we go. So if I open that. How do I open it? Or show options. Open in browser. So now, can everyone see my screen? Now I've got that point of sale on my phone. So if I work in John's cafe as just someone working there, I can now use that to accept a Lightning payment. So if I put in an amount, like I put in, there we go. I put in, can you see my thing here? 1 LKR. Is that an LKR? 9
Yeah,
sats.
I can see that. Yeah.
Does that make sense? And then I press OK. Oh, 1. And then I press OK. I get an invoice then. And then if someone pays that invoice, this is really bizarre. Can anyone see that?
Yes, we can see that.
See if someone can pay that now.
It's quite pixelized my end. Let me try to scan it.
It might be too pixelized.
Wallets.
First one to it wins, guys.
I'm going full screen. Hold on.
Give me a 9 sats.
I'm trying.
It might be too pixelated.
Yeah, it's too pixelated.
Ah, it's my internet signal.
It's there. Hold on, pay.
I think I'm winning.
Ah, look, I got paid. There we go. And then it just pays. And then, you know, they can just accept payments. But what's good about it is they can pass this to each other in the bar or the cafe, and they can use this to accept payments. But there's no way of getting back to the wallet and finding out any information about the wallet. And now if you go back to that wallet, Johns, you should see that there's a 9 sats in there.
Let's see.
Ben, sorry, I missed. What's the name of this extension?
That was TPOS.
Okay. That's the update. Okay,
Yeah, it's
cool.
a nice extension. So Johns, if you go back to your wallet, so if you go to if you go back to the wallet. Oh, this is a different one, I think. Yeah, because you've got. Click on my second app, I guess. Yeah, there we are. You can see, and if you wait, it should say now. See, they've got the. I generated a payment, but then I turned it off with my thumb. But then it's got a tag. So like Boomy was saying about, not sorry, Boomy. Before the Alby talk, when we're talking about making it easier to differentiate what different invoices have been for, we use tags in Allenbit. So each extension's got its own tag. So yeah, so we can do stuff like that. We can connect these extensions to these things. So in my shop extension, all the funds from the shop would go to a wallet, to the user's wallet. But I think it'd be better for Rohan's project not to have Allenbits as a stack. It's overcomplicating. Like you said, just use the Lightning address. Brilliant.
Awesome.
And you could even then you don't even need to. You could use a custodial service like Wallet Satoshi and create an address, stick it into Rohan's thing, and then boom, get paid for products.
Yeah, I really like this concept of like not having too much of a stack and just being able to like just like get something like a Lightning address, put it into like even a meta tag and stuff like that, and then boom, you know, you're able to accept Bitcoin payments. But
and then I suppose if you've got Alby running, then it would then say like just automatic. You wouldn't even have to scan it. I think it would just come up and say, "Do you want to pay for these whatevers in whatever shop?"
Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, Rohan, you were about to talk, Rohan?
Yeah, I was just saying, I was thinking of opening it up to multiple forms of payment. So if you want to use Lightning addresses, or if you want to go straight to Allenbits, or just whatever backend you have, you support, it should be able to support it. So yeah, I wasn't like strict on only Lightning addresses. In fact, I really learned how Lightning addresses work this morning.
I think it should be. Though, because and then everyone should just support Lightning addresses. Most wallets do support Lightning addresses already. So yeah. I mean, yeah, you could add other options, but I think that should be the primary way of doing it.
Okay, well, cool. But yeah, so I'm saying I wasn't like tied to any particular implementation. I just wanted something very simple, where I could just drop something in it and push it to some server somewhere, cloud or static server, without much, like serverless in a sense.
There's a crying need for it. Like you say, like, I mean, I love BTC Pay Server, but installing that thing, I found that to be a headache.
Well, to be honest, hey, I'm a big BTC Pay Server fan, and it like before the project, I'm like, okay, it's interesting. But then I tried setting up on a DigitalOcean, and it took like half an hour with a fully pruned node and stuff like that. And I'm like, wow, this is actually, because I went through this like Docker setup. Obviously, It's not like the one-click setup kind of thing. Yeah, right. It's not that easy, but yeah, it was quite enjoyable with the Docker setup, spinning it up and getting it running.
Right.
That's
And
right.
the only issue with that is there's maintenance that you might have to do, right? But with a static site, there's zero maintenance. And in fact, there are many servers out there that will host your static site for free, right? So
True.
you pay no money, you just put up your HTML and it hooks into the APIs that you need. So that's a general concept I'm thinking of.
You could say did you say you could host it as a GitHub.io site before?
Yeah, exactly. Right. You drop it in GitHub. You can store the code and make your changes on your private repository. Push the changes there. So it's just like it's that simple workflow I'm thinking about, where anyone can just push up a site.
Yeah, I think that's super important, especially in the space. And again, I want to emphasize this. One of the things that we want to try to promote during this hackathon, it's like that easy onboarding setup for someone who wants to put a website or a shop or something online and start getting payments like anywhere in the world. Because yeah, it's like if you start off with first you set up a node and then you you make these ports available and then you figure out how to connect to RPC. What's RPC? A lot of developers don't know about these things,
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing server stuff for over more than a decade, right? And setting up LN bits, it was there are issues I had to face, and even right now, my Python server keeps failing. Right?
No,
so my LN
bits is supposed to be easy. That's not fair.
Okay,
no, I mean, but I'm saying I know exactly how to do it, and I still have issues, right? So
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think how do I get someone else who doesn't have that amount of experience?
Well, we're trying to work on we're trying to find solutions for obviously not having to do terminal stuff, so you can just do a SaaS cluster thing.
Right.
We've been working on that where you can just spin it up on a subdomain, all that craziness, and that will come. Yeah, but like you say, currently, normal people don't want to have to do any of that crap. They just want to be able to put it on a GitHub.io thing. Would be great. I was just wondering whether you could pull the LN the LN address from a repo profile or something, or a GitHub profile, or where you could store, because basically you just need to store that, don't you? Oh no, then you got to store all the payments as well. Yeah, sorry. What would you use for that? What database software? Would you use some online database thing like Firebase or something, or?
Right. So I've used Airtable. It's kind of free, and there's an API for it, so you can store your data in Airtable. You get a lot of records for free.
That's cool.
And there are a bunch of other free databases and APIs that you can hook up to store. So they're just options. I just need enough time and people with skills to help me to build it.
Well,
once you get that, then that should be fine.
Yeah, Kate Kate's had her hand up for a little bit. Let's see. Hey, Kate, how you doing?
Oh, hey, fellas, how's it going?
All good, all good.
Good. Good to have you here, Kate.
While we're on the top, we've moved on a little bit from the BTC server pay, but last year that was my gateway into spinning up my node and getting my node started. Actually, I started with trying to make a Raspberry Pi 3 work with Umbrel, which was just a real headache. And so after several weeks of making that, or not making that work, I put my node together on the Raspberry Pi 4. And the reason I did this is because I wanted to have some sort of front-facing or something on my website that would just simply be able to take Bitcoin. That's where I was at a year ago at this time. And that's why I put my, and they said, oh, you got to have a node. And then when you were, Ben, when you were talking about, you have to interface, I have this whole doc, which I shared with Jason there on all the steps that it takes to be able to have that work functionally. And then I ran into these situations where what do I have to harden my home network? And I'm learning on the fly all these different things about the Tor. And then it's geez, my problem at the outset was I just simply want to be able to receive Bitcoin as a currency for the products or services that I'm offering. And so then I ended up into this deep dive into the Lightning Network and why that layer was important. And so this is where I am all at, and it's all kind of all over the place here. And I've been talking to Rohan, and getting into GitHub and looking at React, whatever that is all about. I'm not sure that I can jump into that because it's going to take me a day to figure out how to even parse what is being on offer there, right? Or where that's going. So I'm also part of, I also do a lot of prototyping for inventors and entrepreneurs using 3D printing and in the real world. So for me, I'm trying to start with just this, what is the problem statement? And I have this problem to start with that I'd like to sort of find a solution for. Maybe it's in this hackathon, maybe not. And maybe Jason and I will sort that out off, or maybe we'll sort it out with Alby. I'm not sure, but I've gone on here for how many people are still in the room?
Yeah, still 11. Still no. This is Kate. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Did you get to accept the Lightning payments on your website yet?
No. What are you talking about? I'm a fucking year later here, and I've gone to Pump's Crypto Academy. I've went through GitHub on the Mastering Lightning Network. I've done so much reading and so much stuff, and I still. But the beautiful thing is I've been fully orange pilled as a result of just trying to solve this one thing, and I would like to do it well and properly, and have a best practice for having done that, which I haven't. And that's why I'm not wanting to just get in there and mess around and
100% with you. I heard this story maybe 3 or 4 times only this week. It's only Tuesday.
Okay, all right. You mean there's fools like me that have been I'm relentless on trying to get this problem solved, but I'm trying to tread carefully so that I can then sort of pass this knowledge on in it's this is the way that I did it, and these are the deviations that are going to run you into problems, or this is what I'm a bit of a documentation junkie, and I would like to just be able to pass on good practical guidance on how it's done. And I realize this is an emerging technology. It's not something that really has been done before. So I've got my fingers in Alby. I've got my finger. This LM Bits thing that you just showed, Ben, is oh my God, I can't do any regular work because I want to look at all those extensions. I mean, I'm trying to stay focused on my one problem, but there's wow, that was amazing.
I'm using one of them right now, actually. I don't know if you can see. You can't see my full screen, can you? Because my full screen's got a QR code on it. And then if someone scans that, because this is actually an extension in LM Bits, which generates this window. And if you scan that QR code, it should trigger a little animation. If you pay more than 10 sats, it should trigger a little animation on the screen. I think it's 10 sats for confetti, 20 sats for it does some stuff. And if your cheapskate's going to pay me any money, I'm going to pay myself. And if your cheapskate's going to pay me.
Well, what value are you bringing, Ben?
Well, I'm demoing something live, so that's my value.
I like that, Kate. I like that.
But yeah, no, Kate. To your point, you're right. You're breaking new ground, and something which always annoys me about Lightning is if you send a Lightning payment to a noob and you show them how cool the Lightning stuff is, they're then oh, what can I do with this now? And you're go pay for some hosting on Lunarnode, obviously. So Rohan, if you making shops easier, then of course people are going to use it, and then you can say, well, there's this directory of all these shops you can go spend your sats on and buy some stuff directly from producers and people. So it's like you say, Kate, at the moment it's so hard to do. So
well, actually, Ben, can I interject there a little bit? I'm a strong believer of design first, and also the problem of origin. This is why I'm still just not going to let go of this. I have this problem. That's a very rare situation for me to be in, is I being the problem, the party with the problem of origin. Because if I start with what is the problem I am trying to solve for this client, right? Are you an artist that is, this is a real problem of someone in my life that is doing video content, and I'm looking to figure out how do I get her set up so that she can be a V for what I'm calling a V for V, a value for value model, and able to stack sats, right? Like, and then center around that person, and then we can sort of like move that and replicate those, whatever application is designed for that highly customized individual. Maybe that's translatable or can be more universal and move laterally to like expand on. Am I making sense? Like, if you solve just one problem for one person well and properly, is sort of my approach where I come from.
Yeah, 100%. Then everyone can make use of it. Yeah.
I realize that's not necessarily, you know, sometimes I see that hackathons, and I've been in a number before, is you throw a bunch of shit at the wall and you see what sticks, and then everybody assembles around like the one main piece of shit that seems to be the most interest to everyone, right? So
I like
absolutely. Well, I mean, hopefully you guys can tackle some of these issues over the next week. I believe Kate and Rohan, you guys are going to be teaming up. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Team LN shop.
Yeah, we're in this
to be announced. We'll have to see whether I can get Rohan to define a clear problem statement for me, so I can then put together a solution statement.
Yeah, I don't know the full problem. It's just, you know, an idea. I guess our heads coming together, we'll figure out something.
So this is interestingly design sprint stuff, right, Ed? Okay, so what we can do, yeah, because like we have this process at Peak Shift, which we do with some of our clients. It's called a design sprint, and it's this workshop where we basically 10 cents is 0 for free. Where we basically try to get alignment with everyone on the team. And to do that, there's a series of tools that we use. So one of those tools is like Ask the Expert, right? So instead of having to do the research yourself, you ask a set of experts, you interview a set of experts which already have some knowledge about the space. And then we kind of like converge on like solutions and problem statements and stuff. Then there's like some sketching exercises, some design research, and such and such. So perhaps what we could do is like some very short sessions tomorrow with teams during the lightning sprint call. It's on the schedule. So so Rohan, Kate, Jensen, anyone who has like a project already defined, we'll probably try to have some breakout rooms. And myself, Ed, and Alex will come in and help facilitate these design sprints with you so that you could get alignment and stuff. And we work on Figma to try to like extract the ideas from you guys. So all you have to do is just basically, like write a description of the project in time for tomorrow's session. Yeah. And I see Ben's capitalizing on his.
I love the just stacking small amounts of sats though. You know, if you're like, guys, I want to expand on this a little bit more. This extension, because if you're doing a video, why not have a QR code and then somebody can like send you little tips or whatever. We did have there is an extension somewhere, like a started extension of being able